Welcome, everyone, to another Jags podcast, episode 8. And I'm going to go ahead and say this is going to be our best podcast yet, because what we're doing tonight is we are going to be recording our podcast while the NFL draft is happening. So you're going to get our immediate reactions to teams' picks. You're going to hear our predictions before teams pick, and it's just going to be a lot of fun. We're really looking forward to it. And tonight, as always, we have Joey. Joey, how you doing?
With all these wings and chips and dips in the draft, couldn't be any better.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Jason, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing amazing.
Jason, how long have you been looking forward to this night, us recording this podcast while watching the draft?
A year and 3 months.
Okay. Excellent.
He literally just handed me a leather-bound volume of draft stats. Pretty excited.
Jason has definitely done his homework. I'm going to say that right off the bat. And Robert, how you doing?
Loving these Cajun Ranch wings from Whiskey Jacks.
Yeah. Hey, don't plug them yet. They're not giving us any money.
He said, yeah.
No, those were from somewhere else.
Dick's Wings. No, no.
But before we get to the draft and everything that entails, which is a lot, we want to kind of discuss some news that was dropped on the city of Jacksonville and Jaguar fans today, and that was the breaking news of Shad Khan buying Wembley Stadium in London. And we've asked Joey to kind of give us some details, perspective about that. So, Joey, take it away. What are your thoughts about this big deal of Shad Khan buying Wembley Stadium?
I think the first part was that the first thing everybody saw when they woke up pretty much was that. And everybody in Jacksonville is just terrified that we're going to lose the Jags, that we're a small market, that he's only here just to flip it and turn it. So, I kind of initially got a little anxiety, but then when I sat there and thought about it a little bit, thought about all of his other investments, soccer stuff, just his worldwide economic stuff. We have nothing to be worried about. We think of things on a much smaller scale than a guy like that does. Honestly, the NFL to him is not large scale. That's not his ultimate goal. That's just part of his package. He wants to be an international sports media business, just magnet. He wants to be that guy, and he loves London. He wants to be that guy in London. I think that was as big of an ego move as anything. Good business decision as well, because that stadium makes a ton of money regardless of anything football-wise. So, there's a lot to it. He's going to be able to get all the revenue from other teams playing there. If any other football teams go in there, I do think we'll probably lose one other home game or maybe one other away game. I don't think that's the end of the world, honestly, especially if it's in the hot months. I'll be fine with that myself. And they make a lot of money off that. I think it's 11% of their annual revenue is from the one game right now. So if he can do 2 games, 22%, and then keep doing what he's doing here.
So almost a quarter of their revenue would be from 2 games in London.
2 games.
Wow.
And all that aside, if you think about it like this, he's already got Jacksonville market on lockdown. He has the London market football-wise on lockdown. He has a professional soccer team there as well. He has multiple other businesses there as well. He's looking at actually upgrading his soccer team. I'd be more worried if I was Fulham than if I was the Jags. He's looking at buying Tottenham, which is a much more perennial Division I soccer team. So why give up a market you already have on lockdown? He's just losing a market if he takes the Jags there. So it's just not happening, man. There's nothing for us to worry about right there, in my opinion. Only way the Jags are moving there is if they're buying a second home because they're so freaking rich that they can afford to do so.
So what do you say to the people that, before we get there, what about what Mark Lamping said about how this is going to create more revenue for the Jaguars by Khan owning Wembley Stadium? Jaguar fans in Jacksonville, I guess you could say as a whole, should be excited about this. Why?
Well, they should, because first of all, multiple NFL games are played there as it stands right now, outside of just the Jags. What that means to the Jags themselves in the city of Jacksonville is anytime any game's played there, Khan's getting all the revenue from the stadium. In addition to that, the NFL signed off on this, and that had to have been going on for months. They're not going to sign off on a deal unless there's probably going to be more games that are played that have absolutely nothing to do with the Jaguars. But when that happens, Khan still makes money off of it. It's just a good business decision. That's all it is.
Question, do you think legitimately with all of the extra games that are going to be getting played potentially over in London that the revenue is still going to be there? Because right now it's kind of a gimmicky thing. It's almost like when international teams come to the U.S. and come to Jacksonville and play. For a while there, we had some of the biggest numbers around, and then they just slowly started dwindling because it wasn't this brand new thing. And when it comes down to it, football is a far probably third to soccer, cricket, multiple other sports over there. So I feel like we're getting 11% because there's 2 games getting played over there. but they don't broadcast it live anywhere.
You think they're diluting the product?
Yeah, I think they will, and especially if they're talking about what the thought process has been is playing 8 games over there a year total, not just as the Jaguars, but organization, but all the other teams. It's like I can't see that being sustaining over there.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's really catching on. I mean, you've got Baselli and those guys go over there and they do camps every summer. You know, there's a couple guys at this point that have almost been draft eligible as far as their playing ability. That's just going to continue, man. They're bruisers. They're rugby guys, man. They like physical sports. They like drinking, man. They like going out and they like betting on stuff. You can bet on like all kinds of stuff over there. I mean, whether that's going to pertain to the NFL at some point. If they had a team and it was 16 games a year, you're probably right. You're not going to sell out 100,000 seats every single game for 16 games. I think if you expand it to 4, 6, 8 games, I still think it'll have that. It'll be like that. Absolutely. I mean, I think really we've kind of wrapped it up quickly, but the bottom line is that Judge Khan, by what he's done and what he said he's going to do. I mean, he's never once said he's taken him. He hasn't. I mean, you can't knock the guy at this point. I mean, he may burn us. It's possible he is a businessman, but I mean, he hasn't so far. I mean, we were horrible for multiple years. He could at that point. He didn't. At this point, I kind of got to put my faith in him and say he's doing what's right for us.
Giving us new scoreboards, daily plays.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's literally nothing downtown that's not better than it was before he got there, team included.
Yeah, we'll see. So anyway, we did want to touch on that, but we won't give it too much time because the real headline tonight, again, is the draft. So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, the draft is going to be starting. So we'll see y'all in just a minute. All right, welcome back to another Jags podcast, episode 8. We're talking draft tonight, and the draft is about to start. Roger Goodell has made his way onto the stage, and they are booing him like crazy. Which, okay, I understood when they did it the first couple times, but isn't it a little cliche now?
I thought it was just crappy Philly fans. I didn't realize it was everybody.
It's just fun.
It's an every year thing, but I mean, do they even know why they're booing him?
No, they don't.
Every commissioner gets booed. Besides
David Stern didn't get booed.
Yeah.
People love David Stern.
Yeah, he's the only one. When Bette Midler was the commissioner, booed. When Tagliabue was the commissioner, booed. When, whoever it is, they just hate commissioners. That's why they get paid so much money, though. They get paid. Roger Goodell gets paid $50 million a year to get booed. He's the punching bag for the NFL owners.
That's a great gig.
And instead of booing your owner, everyone boos one guy. And he gets paid $50 million a year to do it.
What about the fact that Aikman has giant hands?
Yeah, he does. I don't really have anything to say about that, Joey. let me ask you all this as we wait for Cleveland to officially be on the clock. It's going to be a long night. Jags don't pick till 29. What is your dream scenario for the Jags tonight? I'm not talking about second round, third round, all that. Tonight, for the first round, if you could see them do anything, what would it be?
My dream scenario would be the Jaguars trade all their picks to trade into the top 10, and they pick Derwin James. That's my dream. I don't care. Whatever it takes. So that's my dream scenario.
Does dream scenario have to have like any kind of realistic possibility to it?
It's a dream. I mean, you can't ask players to come like back from the dead. It has to be some sort of realistic thing here. But I'll go while y'all are thinking about it. I'll go ahead and say I agree 100% with Jason. I actually heard some guys on the radio today saying that they're thinking, and I agree with this, that 3 to maybe 4 picks that the Jaguars make tonight are going to actually make the team because our team is just so good now, which is awesome. That's kind of where you want to be. That's the reality. Why not trade those picks and get someone that is going to be a home run? If you have Derwin James on that defense, it's going to be almost impossible to score on them. So that I would love to see that. And it's not because he's a Florida State guy and I'm a Florida State homer. If he played for the Gators, I'd be saying the same thing.
Yeah.
He is a dynamic player. I say put all the chips on the table, go for broke. This is your window. Make a huge splash tonight that no one sees coming. Bring in Derwin James and make that defense even more ferocious than it was last year. That's my dream.
I mean, that's great and all, but I mean, my problem with that is like how many of those dreams turn out to be duds and how many of those 3rd, 4th, 5th round picks that you would have had turn out to be people you didn't even know you should be dreaming about. I mean,
play along, Joey. We're not being
that.
realistic here. This is dream scenario.
But I think that dream kind of sucks, man.
I'm
so I'm
sold
going to say
on
so.
Derwin, though. I'm sold. Like, I'm with you. I see what you're saying. I mean, I've watched him enough. I'm not a Florida State fan. I'm not a homer, but I've watched him enough to know that his game will translate to the next level 100%. Realistically, we're looking at the only positions where we could potentially get a starter in this draft are lineman, linebacker, and nickel corner. If we were to have Derwin James, he might not even start right away, but he'd play it all in our nickel packages. Realistically, like you were saying, James, 3 or 4 make the team. 1 maybe starts. So like you were saying, we got a window. Let's go for broke. Let's get someone that'll start for us next year.
Well, I think if we're buying into that dream, then I would, that's fine. Derwin James is not my guy that I dream about. I would go with Quentin Nelson in that scenario.
Okay, same difference, just on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're pretty much both locks, but I would prefer him.
Why is that?
Because I think he's more of a guarantee. The guy's just and he's going to play, I think, a lot longer as well. I think that Derwin James is got maybe a smaller window. I think Quentin's going to be there for a really long time. It makes people better around him as well, which I think is huge for us. On the defensive side of things, everybody around him is pretty much awesome already.
But where's Quentin Nelson going to play? Right guard?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
You think he's worth giving up? Not him. The right guard position is worth giving up all those picks?
I think for our team, our running game, the Norwell signing, I think that would just cap it all off.
I wouldn't be upset by that. I really wouldn't. I would like Derwin James more because I think defense is our strength, but I would be incredibly happy if they did that as well.
I'm kind of with Joey in the sense that if we're not getting at least a Will Hernandez in the first round at this point in time for a offensive lineman, I don't even want to sniff at one and wait till the second or third round to get one. And personally, I think we have to get an offensive lineman now. I mean, I think we shored up our defense last year within free agency, and then we did it in the draft as well. And I feel like that's the same exact thing they're going to do this year. They shored up more offensive positions in the free agency, and I think they're going to do the same thing in the draft this year. Okay. If it's a trend.
Okay, so just to give everyone an update, as you listen to this is all going to be in the past, but as we're recording what's happening right now, Cleveland is on the clock. They have just a little over 6 minutes left until they have to make their pick. So that's kind of our dream scenario. What is our realistic scenario for the Jags at 29? What do you see them doing? You can say position, you can say specific player, or trade or whatever. What do you think is going to happen, Joey?
I've been a big fan of Lamar Jackson, and if he's there, I still think we should take him. I don't think he's going to be there, and I've completely flipped around on what I think we should do. I think we should take Hayden Hurst.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Reason being, I've listened to a lot of actual interviews with him. I've read more about what he's been through and the college or the high school athlete he was. What he did through the minor leagues in baseball, fighting through the yips, and then reinventing himself as a college football player. And also, dude, he's not a kid, man. The dude's 25, 26 years old. He's going to be coming into the league in his prime. I think he could immediately step in and be a huge, huge lift for us.
Okay.
Yeah, for me, it's, again, if it's not Will Hernandez or better, or moving up to someone like a Nelson or whatever it is, I think they need to either go with the next top tight end or wide receiver or just next top talent, period. I think at that point in time, if it's not an offensive lineman, it needs to be the best talent out there for second round.
I think they need to go offensive line, period. I just think – I understand that there are some elite tight ends. I just don't value tight end in the first round really for what you're going to get. Now, if Hayden Hurst, I do know he can. From what I've read, he's not just pass catching, but he is a blocking tight end as well, which is something we don't have on the roster. So I guess that wouldn't. I don't know. I just think tight end is so deep. We can get a tight end in the second round, if that's even a huge need for the Jags. I think though, kind of more to Joey's point about Nelson, is we go offensive line and just continue to protect Bortles, continue to give him more time to throw, continue to open up lanes for Leonard Fournette. That helps out the entire offense. And if there is a legitimate offensive lineman at 29 that they like, that's who I want them to go with. Offensive line all the way, 100%.
I want them to get a linebacker because I think we play base formation, which is 4 defensive linemen and 3 linebackers, at least 50% of the time. And we don't have a third linebacker. Telvin Smith and Miles Jack are really, really good players. But who's the other linebacker going to be? Blair Brown? As set as we are on defense, I think if we're going to stay first in the league, ranking-wise, on defense, we need to get a linebacker. It kind of depends on who's going to be there. I'm a big fan of Sky Moore out of South Carolina. I think he's going to sneak into the first round. And I think that he may be a player. That's my dream player. Honestly, that's my dream pick because he is one of the best linebackers on film that I've ever seen. The way he plays to the ball, his speed. I mean,
again, that's a pick that's only going to be on the field 55% of the time, we'll say, roughly.
Right.
They play so much nickel. Is that worth it?
Well, like you were talking about, the value in the other picks that we need. Tight end, there's so much value in the second round and third round. Offensive line, there's a lot of value in the second round. Linebacker, there's just not as much value there to me. So I think we have to capitalize on our first-round pick and get a starter, we're getting mocked receivers a lot, but that's another position that I think you can find late. I think the linebackers are at a premium this year, and we still don't have a starting linebacker. So until we address that, I'm also not too sold on Hayden, our nickel corner. So I think we should solve that issue as well too. So if we took a corner in the first round, I wouldn't be upset either, because I'm a big fan of getting your starters. We know we can get away with Can and Parnell for at least another year, but we have a lot of defensive contracts coming up next year at defensive end, at safety, at linebacker. We're going to have to solve a lot of these issues contractually next year.
Yeah, I'm all for that. You just mentioned somebody I've never even heard of, and Sky, what was the last name?
Let's hold that for a second. The pick is in for Cleveland. Real quick, who do y'all think they have? Go quick. Joey?
Barkley.
Darnold's safe.
Yeah, Darnold.
Okay, I'm going Mayfield.
Not only that, what trolls that it took them this long to pick this out. I mean, they knew what they were doing to begin with.
Well,
Come on. Don't they know
it's
the
Cleveland?
Jags,
what do you
Jags
expect?
picked 29. I don't want to stay up till 12:30, but I am.
Darnold looks like he should be working at a used car lot, man.
I just have a
There's
funny
no way
feeling that the
pans
Jags
out.
are going to trade up. I'm not saying it's going to be in the top 10, but Dave Caldwell said this is the biggest draft of his tenure with the Jags. This is their window to win. I don't know. I would not surprise me if they trade up in the draft. Where exactly, I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, the pick is in, and it's, of course, taking them a nice, sweet time to actually read it. Just to recap again, Joey's going Barkley, right? Did I hear that right?
That's
Saquon
correct.
Barkley?
You got it.
Okay. Jason said Sam Darnold. Who'd you say, Robert? I missed yours.
I said Darnold as well.
2 Darnolds, Barkley, and a Mayfield. Okay.
With the first pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Baker Mayfield. Wow. Quarterback, Oklahoma.
Oh, my
All right. I'm 1 for 1. I'm 1 for 1.
It was not a smoke screen. That's amazing.
Wow. I like it.
Wow.
I think it's Joey, that's your boy.
I like it too, man. I think he's the only one that has a chance of being any good.
All right.
I just
Baker
did not
Mayfield,
expect
the
it.
first, goes from a walk-on at Oklahoma, wins the Heisman. Now he's a first pick in the draft. Wow.
Hey,
so let me
good-
ask you this. Does he start day one? They got
Absolute-
Tyrod Taylor.
No, he is fighting for that job.
Okay.
He has a definite shot.
Yeah, I think that's a great competition. Don't forget, Tyrod Taylor did lead his team to the playoffs last year. It's not like he's some scrub, but I think that's going to be a fun competition for Cleveland. If I'm a Browns fan, I like it. I like it a lot.
I'd be excited. I mean, it's not ideal because they don't have a completely solid starting quarterback, but he's got a good chance to start, and he's got somebody who can take it if he can't. He's not ready, so it's good.
Terrible pick. Terrible pick.
Because it wasn't Darnold?
Terrible pick. I mean, come on. This guy is a 4-year starter at Oklahoma. He's not coming out early. Okay, ideally you want someone that's good enough to come out early. He only plays in the shotgun. What's he going to do? Learn to take snaps under center? I mean, this guy, he's smart, but he's only 6 foot tall.
Well, how many of the quarterbacks in college even take snaps under center these days? I mean, they're all
good
out of
ones do.
And really, in the NFL, more and more, are running the shotgun.
The good ones do. I mean, the only player I can think of, the quarterback who's come out super early, it's been a primarily shotgun quarterback in college, was Marcus Mariota. I mean, everyone else is more of a, pro style offense. So now we're going to turn this guy from the Big 12 offense, and we're going to translate him to this is a Cleveland Brown pick, in my opinion, man. I mean, I don't know.
I'll tell you this much: this is good for the Jags. The more quarterbacks that go off the board before they pick, the better. And I think now what's going to be interesting to see is what do the Giants do at 2?
Well, see, that's the thing. I think this is a strategy move. The reason I said Barkley first is I think they want a quarterback and they want Barkley. If they took Barkley first, they were guaranteed that, but then they're left with whatever's left at quarterback at 4. Now they've gone with somebody who isn't necessarily the top pick coming into this point. If they took Mayfield, they could still get Barkley at 4.
Yeah. So Jason, you think Mayfield's a bust?
I think he's an absolute bust. He reminds me of A.J. McCarron.
I think with this,
really?
AJ, yeah.
I think with this pick, Cleveland only wins 4 games next year.
I think they draft him to be a backup this year. I don't think he'll start this year.
Regardless,
I think Tyrod is their quarterback coming up this year.
I don't think they needed to waste their first round pick with a quarterback. I said that because I thought that they were going to go with it, but I think Barkley would have been a much better choice for them, especially getting Tyrod Taylor. I don't think Mayfield's going to pay.
I like it. I think it's a good pick. I'm with Joey. I think it's going to be a quarterback competition. The guy he's accurate. He's a gamer. I really believe he is this year's Deshaun Watson in the draft. He all he does is win, and for some reason, if you put him on a team that can play defense, they would have won the national title last year.
I mean, he did win the Heisman last year, right?
Yeah.
But you can't say if he plays for a team that plays defense, he would have won, and not cite he might have had the best offensive line in college football.
Well, yeah, it's true. I'm just
if
saying,
you're going to give him credit and to discount him for the defense, you you got to take away a little bit for having the best offense. I mean, he's in a pass-happy offense with an amazing offensive line, and I mean, his nickname is Captain Checkdown. I hope he does good, but he has all the makings to a
Yeah,
bust.
but isn't accurate and Captain Checkdown like almost the NFL like prototypical offense
he's
at this
small,
point?
though. He's small, though. Checkdowns are hard when you're small.
He's not. I don't think he's as small as everyone thinks he is.
Height-wise, only being 6 foot.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what again that they said a lot about size with Deshaun Watson, but he
ACL.
won. He won, and I don't know. I think it's. I like him. I like it. I think it's a good pick. Well, I mean, time will tell. It really doesn't.
Hey,
I mean,
look at that comparison.
what's that?
Jeff Garcia to Mayfield. That's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Garcia, career quarterback in the NFL.
Career backup.
He had some start. He had a couple good seasons where with
a
San
couple
Francisco.
good
Quarterback,
years.
you don't think of Jeff Garcia.
I just gotta say we
No.
can't. I mean, everyone
Maybe
keeps
in the
talking
Canadian
talking about Watson, but we do not know anything about Watson minus a few games and then a torn ACL. How many quarterbacks have come out and had one great game? Had one great season. He didn't even have a full season. Watson is a moot point at this.
Well,
Right
so,
now.
I mean, for a Jaguar fan, so is Mayfield. I mean,
yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, we're not going to see him ever.
No,
so.
I mean, we can play around with this.
I mean, bottom line, that's one player or another player that we would not have taken. So good for us, right?
yeah,
I mean,
that's
I
what I'm
agree.
saying. Like,
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
that's gonna.
More of those, the merrier.
Oh, the Giants
thank you.
selection's already in.
Thank
All
you,
right,
New
we're
York.
rolling.
Don't play games.
We're rolling.
Let's go.
So, okay, real quick prediction. Can we do it? Can we get it?
Darnold.
Darnold.
Barkley.
With the second pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Saquon Barkley, running back, Penn State.
Thank you.
Saquon Barkley. New York Giants selected
Well,
Saquon Barkley.
Wow.
If I was right about anything at this point in time, is that it would not be 3 to 4 quarterbacks. going
Yeah, you're
back-to-back.
right.
That
So-
is true.
Yep.
and that's where it's going to leave off right there. So
I mean, man.
I mean, that means that Manning is the quarterback there for the next couple of years, right?
Yeah, next
Until
couple
they
of years.
pick first next
I
year.
don't
Yeah.
like that pick. I mean, no, because they'll win more than enough games. They're not going to win less games than the Dolphins. Wouldn't you think? I don't see the Giants being the worst team in the league next year.
depends on Tannehill.
They get your quarterback back next year.
Yeah,
so.
they get Tannehill back next year, who is
Who knows?
he's not bad, but who else do they have on that entire team? They have
That's fair.
nobody on that team.
No,
they
they've
eventually
sold
they're going to
the
have to play
house.
defense. They're going to have to try and run the ball.
No, they're definitely rebuild mode. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't knock this pick though. Again, this is one of my locks. I mean, the
He's
guy's gonna be good.
He's a great player. I'm not suggesting that he's not, but you only get the second pick in the draft every so often. They have a new coach, a new GM, and they have a quarterback who's going on, I think, 37 years old, who has not looked amazing the last couple years. I mean, I like Eli. Well, I don't know if I do actually, but he did win 2 Super Bowls. I don't know. They might be kicking themselves going, we could have gotten somebody, but maybe they just don't like any of the quarterbacks in the draft. If
I
that's the
think-
case, then they made the absolute right move.
I think that's the bottom line, man. I think all the quarterbacks are garbage. I mean, they're above average at best. I think that's the ultimate college football position to be in right now is above average quarterback.
Yeah, well,
You're
here's
gonna
the
get
thing.
paid.
Next year, the quarterback class is predicted to be even worse.
Yeah.
So I agree. I think this draft overall is going to be one where you look back on as very average draft
Yeah,
class.
for
I think
sure.
there's a Barkley. Barkley, Bradley Chubb, Derwin James, Minka Fitzpatrick, and Nelson are going to be the names that really rise to the top from this draft. Everyone else are going to be guys that are going to be average at best.
I agree. I think one guy that nobody's talking about, which I don't understand why, because he was just so good at Georgia, was Sonny Michel. I mean, the dude can catch the ball in the backfield. He runs like crazy, and he's a big dude. I don't know why he's not getting more hype.
I mean, Saquon's better at all of that, though, than he is.
I really think Raekwon Smith is going to be good too out of Georgia. I think he's going to be probably one of the. I mean, obviously, I think he's going to go in the top 10, probably top 15, but he's not one that a lot of people have really been talking about. And I think wherever he goes, he's going to be a day one starter, and he's going to probably be a beast.
I've heard multiple people talk about him being the best football player in the entire
Yeah.
draft.
Saquon Barkley, I mean, he's a good player. I think the reason why he's so highly valued is he reminds me a lot of the Pittsburgh Steelers running back Le'Veon Bell. The way he runs routes as good as a wide receiver does, and the way he can catch the ball out of the backfield and make moves. Hopefully, it translates to the NFL. But breaking Big Ten defenders isn't breaking NFL defenders. So
That's true.
there's always that when you have a receiving back like he is. But between the tackles for the Jaguars offense, I would rather have Leonard Fournette than him any day of the week.
I actually would too. But if he's as good as everyone says he is, this is another good pick for the Jags because he's over in the NFC and we don't have to worry about him. Maybe once every 3 or 4 years, but that's good for us. Real quick before, so we don't do it like we just did. We have 4 minutes, just a little over 4 minutes till the Jets make a pick. Let's get some actual predictions now. We can think about it for more than 2 seconds.
I think they're going Chubb. I don't think they're going to go quarterback. I think they got 2 already. I don't see the point of bringing in a third after they just spent money. I think they're going to go next best player, and I think they're going to think it's Chubb. So
I'm with you there. I don't think they go quarterback either. I think they go Chubb, and they kind of roll with McCown and Bridgewater and kind of see what they got in that.
My thought is this: if they're going to not go quarterback, why wouldn't they trade out of it? I mean, trade with Denver. They wouldn't trade with Buffalo, but I'm sure they could find a trade partner, someone that needs a quarterback. So I'm going to say, with a little over 3 minutes left, that they are going to take a quarterback, and it's going to be Sam Darnold.
I have to say, with their offseason moves, I don't see how they couldn't take a quarterback. They've got to. So I'm going to go with Darnold as well.
it feels like they just paid then for 2 quarterbacks in free agency for no reason then, because you're going to have to – if he ends up – you got to keep him if he's your first round. You can't cut him. So then you just paid a person.
Well, by that logic, though, the Jags
Yeah,
can't take a tight end because they signed 2 tight ends in the offseason. Teddy Bridgewater is a complete unknown. No one has any idea what he's going to do.
Yeah, but
we're not paying tight ends the same way they're paying quarterbacks, though.
Yeah.
They got $10 million tied up in McCown.
Yeah,
$10
but
million.
if you don't believe in either one of them, and you're only as good as your quarterback, really. I just don't understand if they don't take him. It just doesn't make any sense why they wouldn't trade out of that pick, unless they just think Bradley Chubb or whoever they take is just that amazing that they don't want to lose the possibility of getting him.
I mean, I think McCown and Bridgewater are both on 1-year deals, right? I mean, so it's a 1-year hit if they do draft somebody and decide either one of the other ones are not going to be there. So that's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
that's true. Can I just say this? These New Era hats are awful. I thought the Jaguars one was bad, but the New York's was no better.
I don't hate
It's
the
a-
Jaguar one.
It says Big Blue on the on the top of it.
I like the Jets one. I think I saw the Jets one. It's pretty good. But, yeah, I mean, they're not
I'm not a fan of the flat bill period, so I'm out.
Jets third pick of the draft.
With the 3rd pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Sam Darnold, quarterback, USC.
Jets take Sam Darnold.
I'm going to start mocking James's picks from here on out.
I'm 2
Whatever
for 3.
James says, I'm just going to say that one.
1 for 3 here.
Well, we'll see what happens. Anyone think he's a bust?
Absolutely.
I think almost all these quarterbacks are bust.
I think he'll have a decent career. I don't think he'll be it depends on what you call it bust. He's officially gone the same exact pick as Blake Bortles.
That's
Just
true.
keep
He has.
that in mind.
I think he's in a little bit better of a situation than Bortles was coming in because I don't think he's going to have to play a snap this year. I think this is a developmental pick where he can sit a year and let McCown play. McCown had pretty good success last year. I mean, for the Jets aren't going to beat New England this year. Not winning the division this year unless something incredibly unforeseen happens. So I think he'll have a career in the NFL, but it's not going to, like Jason said, it'll be backup or average starter.
I mean, other than his prototypical size and the quarterback look, I mean, he really didn't do that well in college. I don't think he's going to translate. How about 57 TDs and 22 INTs in his college career? I mean, that's not great at all.
Okay, so there's just over 3 minutes left for Cleveland to make the 4th pick of the draft. We've gone quarterback, running back, quarterback. And I think the general consensus for all of us is that Bradley Chubb is going to be the player taken by Cleveland with the 4th pick. What do y'all think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Agree?
Yep.
All right, I think we all agree, which would be a home run, in my opinion, for Cleveland. If they believe in Baker Mayfield, they got the guy they wanted in that. They had the pick of the litter with quarterbacks. Now they have, if they do in fact get Bradley Chubb, now they have Myles Garrett and Bradley Chubb on that defensive line, which is pretty formidable. All right, the Browns are about to pick. Goodell's at the podium. We all say Bradley Chubb. Not a lot of suspense here. Let's see if we got it right.
With the 4th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns select Denzel Ward, defensive back, Ohio State.
We did not get it right.
Wow.
We did not get it right. Cornerback Denzel Ward out of Ohio State going to Cleveland. I think that might be the first curveball of the draft. Did not see that one coming at all.
I know a lot of teams wanted him, but there was nothing of him in the top 5, right?
Why would you want him over Derwin James?
Why would you want him over Bradley Chubb?
He's the 2nd-rated corner at Ohio State. He's a junior. I like the people that come out early because they have more promise, in my opinion. 5'10", a small guy.
Yeah, he's little.
He
man.
did run a 4.440. I mean, that's impressive. 2 career interceptions in his 3 years at Ohio State.
Let's put it like this: Jalen Ramsey was picked 5th overall by the Jaguars. This guy's picked 4th overall. Who do you think's the better corner?
Yeah. What's this guy weigh? Like 130 pounds?
193 pounds.
There's no way. I want to see a scale with him on it right now.
Do you think he's going to be able to cover Antonio Brown twice a year?
Oh my gosh.
At 4'4"? I don't know. Can he run side to side?
Jason said earlier the Baker Mayfield was a Cleveland pick. This is a Cleveland pick.
Yeah, agreed.
This is why Cleveland is Cleveland right here, in my opinion.
Still calling 4 wins. Maybe 3 now.
He's a good press corner. I mean, these are his strong points. Plays with confidence. I mean, I guess what defensive back doesn't play with confidence? Can be physical and taking on blocks. I guess. I mean, is your corner really? Is that what you're going to draft? Number 4 overall, a guy who can take on blocks on the edge? I mean,
no. I mean, I just can't. I can't believe they passed up the opportunity of having Myles Garrett and Bradley Chubb on the defensive line.
I mean, why not trade out of that spot?
Yeah, really.
I mean, he wasn't going to be gone. You know, I mean, you could have got him way later.
is that a panic pick? It's got to be a panic pick.
Why
right?
would it be a? I mean, I
Like
don't.
they had a trade set up and then like the people like fell through, or I mean, I don't know.
Or like somebody just got fired and they're like, no, I didn't say that. That was third round.
I cannot believe that. I'm pretty surprised by that.
Like literally, can you guys find him on any mock draft like in the first round?
In the first round, yes. On the, I don't think anyone had Cleveland taking him with the 4th pick. Oh my goodness, I would have actually been less surprised if they had taken another quarterback. If they had taken Josh Allen there, that would have surprised me less than this.
I was hoping they'd do that. That would have been awesome.
I mean, he had 15 pass breakups last year in 11 games played. That's a little over 1 pass breakup a game.
Yeah, close. Yeah,
And that's what he was drafted on. How do you even have enough film on a guy who has a little over 1 pass breakup a game to draft him this high? That's unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, unless he just wowed you with his 4.4 time and all his other combine numbers, that's wow.
So with that though,
He interviewed
again,
really well.
going back to the kind of what this means for the Jaguars, there's still a lot of quarterbacks left. Bradley Chubb now is still available. I think you're going to start seeing some guys back up to them a little bit. We haven't seen any offensive line. Nelson's still on the board. Granted, it's super early, but I'm just trying to think in terms of if you're a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, what does this mean to you? I think it's another good sign.
I mean, at this point, it could not have gone any better for us.
Yeah.
Honestly. I mean, it is early, like you said, but dang, keep it coming.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, if they would have traded up to 4, that would have been better, in my opinion.
We might get Derwin James.
Derwin
later
is still
now.
on
I mean,
the
he's
board.
Still there.
Most people had Josh Jackson, the defensive back from Iowa, rated higher than Denzel Ward. So I'm pretty surprised, to be honest with you.
Well, that's Cleveland. Cleveland's going to Cleveland.
Yeah, that's true. At least once.
Yep. And who knows, maybe twice. What if both Mayfield and this guy, I mean, who knows, Ward could be an average, or above average corner, but that's not what you want at pick 4. And Mayfield is a bust. They're going to look back at this draft and say, this is when we could have done it, and we didn't do it again.
I mean, how do you not take Bradley Chubb there?
I don't know.
He is a freak athlete. Like, you want that guy on the field. It's unreal. I mean,
Okay, so now that brings up a good point because we have Denver coming in 4 minutes making their pick. They have a guy named Von Miller. Do they pair him with Chubb, or do they go quarterback?
I think Denver goes with Josh Rosen because Josh Rosen seems like an Elway type of quarterback to me, like a guy that Elway would like. And so I think he just pulls the trigger on Rosen here.
At this point, though, like they probably didn't think Chubb was going to be there. You think they're like freaking out at the moment?
I think they are. I think they got some things to think about. I'm going to go ahead and say Josh Allen here.
All right, the pick's in.
Elway loves big guys.
I almost said Josh Allen, and now that James said it, I'm pissed. Should have said it.
I only pick quarterbacks. If it's anybody else, I'm wrong.
I'm going to say Rosen.
Okay, what about you, Joey?
I'm going to go with Allen. I like
Okay.
him better is the only reason.
We got two for Josh Allen, 2 for Josh Rosen. So hope probably it's not going to be either one of them. Well, the pick is in, so here we go. Mike Mayock would just stop talking. We can see who they pick. Mike Mayock rocking the goatee.
I can hardly see it.
Well, see, your eyesight is fantastic, James. That's amazing.
With the 5th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Bradley Chubb, defensive end, NC State.
All right, the Broncos take Bradley Chubb. I think Joey, you were right. I think they had no idea that he was going to be there, and they got him, and now they have Von Miller and Bradley Chubb.
I mean, that's crazy.
That's a great pick.
Yeah.
Man, the quarterbacks are dropping. Only 2 of the 4 that we thought could maybe go in the first 4 picks there's still 2 left. I mean, again, it's only 5 picks in, but still.
Bradley Chubb with 10 sacks in 2016 and 10 sacks in 2017. So he's averaged, obviously, 10 sacks in the last 2 years. I mean, a huge guy, 6'4", 275.
Plays all downs. He's not doesn't just come in on running plays or passing plays. He plays the whole time.
He's also pretty much one of the only legitimate pass rushers in this draft, correct? I mean,
I would say the only.
Yeah, I mean,
really,
that's what I've gotten as well.
I'm big on Arden Key from LSU, but he'll probably be a late-round pick. But
what do you think the drop-off is between the two, though?
I don't think very
Significant?
much,
No?
me personally. But I like those late-round guys more than most people do. I mean, Bradley Chubb's no Myles Garrett, but he's definitely better than whoever the DB from Ohio State
Yeah,
that
Ward.
Cleveland just took.
Yeah.
God, I'm baffled by that.
Oh man, if I'm Cleveland, I'm irate.
Maybe
at
they
that.
just thought because they have Myles Garrett that they don't need another
No,
DN.
that's
I don't
just-
know.
Cleveland might go to London at this point in time.
And Khan's going to
Let's
make
just
money
keep
off of
up.
it.
Yeah, let's just
wish.
let Cleveland keep tanking like this. This is working out well for us.
Unbelievable.
He's not Joey Bosa. They're comparing him
No.
to Joey Bosa.
No,
He is
he's not
No.
Joey
No.
Bosa, but he is the best defensive end in the draft.
I think he's gonna be good regardless.
Predictions?
Okay, real quick, we got Indy. This pick means something to the Jaguars, who they actually they traded out. They were the third pick
Yeah.
overall. They traded with the New York Jets. Real quick, who do you guys think the Colts are taking?
I'll start. I think they traded back and still got Quentin Nelson.
Okay,
I think they're going to go quarterback with the fact that Homeboy hasn't even thrown a pass yet. So let's go Allen here.
okay.
I'm gonna go Rosen just because of the same.
I agree with Jason 100%. I think it's Nelson. If it's not Nelson, I'm going to be absolutely shocked. But if it's a quarterback, that says,
That says a lot.
that
about
says a
Andrew Luck.
lot about what the status is with Andrew Luck.
Hey, I am 1 for 5 at this point. How can you not agree with me?
Well, I'm 0 for 5, so
Okay.
I'm
Ooh.
looking for I did copy James for this round, so I'm hoping this is it for me.
I'll give you credit on this one because you went first. I would.
Well, I think Quentin Nelson's the best player in the draft.
I agree.
So the fact that he's going to our rival is a little upsetting, but I can't blame them for picking him.
No, but it doesn't matter if the guy that he's protecting can't throw the ball, which he hasn't yet.
And they still have no tackles, so
Yeah.
can't do everything.
Shoot, we're talking about who's worse than Miami. I think Indy might be.
Added Eric Ebron.
If yeah.
Yeah.
Watch out. If Luck can't throw the ball, I mean, there's
there's nothing
without a doubt
Yeah,
they're
they'll-
picking one next
if,
year.
If he's not throwing, they're gonna go on 16.
But it's crazy. He isn't throwing yet, though.
He's not. I mean, he should have long since recovered from that
Yeah.
procedure. All right, here we go. Let's see. This is a big pick for Jaguar fans.
With the 6th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Quentin Nelson, guard, Notre Dame.
All right,
All right,
Colts
there we
select
go.
Quentin Nelson. I think that was pretty
The
obvious.
normalcy has returned.
Give Andrew
this
Luck
guy's
someone
so
to protect
good.
him. Yeah,
I
he
mean,
wasn't
this
making
guy-
out of the top 10, so no one's really surprised by that. First offensive lineman taken off the board. That's a need for the Jags. So
And
that's
it's a guard.
And it's a guard. Yeah,
Wow.
not a
I
tackle.
mean, we saw it coming, but that doesn't happen very often.
No,
That speaks to how good he is.
it does. Everyone's been saying, when are the Colts going to start protecting Andrew Luck? And this is the first step in that for sure.
No,
Having said that, I don't think that's a franchise changing, at least not for this year. It's something that they needed to do. It's a good pick, but it doesn't all of a sudden make them 4 wins better or anything
no,
like
it's
that.
almost like a rebuilding move to some extent.
Yeah. All right, the Bucks are on the clock. They have a little over 3 minutes left. I'll start this prediction off, and I think they're gonna go. Unfortunately, I think they're gonna go Derwin James here. Sure up that secondary because Tampa Bay's defense last year was absolutely atrocious. So unfortunately, I think my dream ends here, and I think they go Derwin James.
I'll just jump in and disagree with you, James, although I said I wasn't going to do this. But I think they go same position, but Minkah Fitzpatrick.
Okay, I hope so. I hope you're right because that'd be good for. Then the Jags can still trade up. Joey, what do you think? You got any thoughts on this?
I mean, honestly, no, not really. I could care less what they take.
Oh, they traded. They traded.
With Buffalo.
They traded. Oh, that's quarterback then.
Okay, it is a quarterback.
Yeah.
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
I'm going to say Josh Rosen.
I'm staying with Rosen until he goes.
It should be Rosen.
At some point, I'm going
It
to
should
be right
be
with it.
Rosen.
Those
I
tweets
think
might
Rosen's
have
much
killed.
better than Allen, but I think Allen is. I don't know. For some reason, people love him.
Those tweets might have killed him, though.
So where was Buffalo at? They were only
14, I think.
were they that far back?
I believe so. Let's check here. They were.
So Buffalo trades up from 21. That's quite the leap. up
It
to
is.
number 7 with Tampa Bay. We don't know what they gave up in this, but we're assuming they're going to take a quarterback here. It'd be pretty cool if Rosen gets picked, because then you have Darnold and Rosen in the same division playing against each other again. That's a pretty good storyline.
That'll be
right
cool.
there. I'm gonna stick. I kind of think it's going to be Rosen, but I'm going to stick with Allen. But I think that would be wrong. I think Rosen's a better quarterback. I'm kind of hedging my bet here a little. I'm pulling a Jason.
Hey, it's the best way to do it.
All right, so the pick is in. We got Goodell coming for the Buffalo. 7th pick, traded with Tampa Bay. First trade of the draft.
With the 7th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Josh Allen, quarterback, Wyoming.
Bills select Josh Allen. All right.
There you go.
That's my 4th correct pick in the top 7.
James is on it.
James is on fire tonight.
I am, man. I could be a GM.
You got the Bears, the Niners, the Raiders before anybody needs a quarterback, and you still have Rosen, Rudolph, and Lamar Jackson on the board. Which
Rudolph's not going in the first round. You
I'm not
think?
saying he is, but I'm saying you still got 3 quarterbacks left. I didn't think we have any. You
Yeah.
know,
Another good pick for the Jags. So far, there's really only been one. Well, I mean, one. No one. We were never going to get Nelson, so that even that doesn't matter.
I don't like him in our division, though. I mean, I know he doesn't change much, but, you know.
No, I agree. I mean, you don't want him in our division, but really, if Luck can't throw the ball, it really doesn't matter much. I don't know about this. I think Josh Allen's a bust. I think everyone's in love with his size and arm strength, but this is an interesting pick here because of every quarterback of we'll say the top 4 in Mayfield, Darnold, Allen, and Rosen. I think the general consensus was Allen was the one that needed the most time. He was someone that you were going to draft and develop. But in Buffalo, there's no one for him to sit behind. I mean, they're drafting him to be day 1 starter, I would imagine. Don't you think?
I mean, they traded for A.J. McCarron. I think that's all they have right now.
I mean,
They're hoping that. So, yeah. I mean, he's probably going to go into
Wow.
to preseason as your number 1.
I mean, I would have thought the Jets maybe because they have McCown, even Cleveland because they have Tyrod Taylor, but Buffalo has no one. So they're the guy who's had the worst completion percentage and again needs to be polished a little bit is going to go to the place where he's going to have to start day 1.
I mean, come on. The biggest stat they're flashing on the screen right now is the All Mountain West honorable mention. That's all they
Honorable
got.
mention.
Honorable mention. That's his career highlight right now.
Oh, this is a recipe for when you talk about like situations, to succeed as a draft pick. This is terrible for him. I think this is terrible.
Doesn't it seem like all these teams are doing what the stereotype for their team is?
it's
Yes.
almost like that on.
the Browns, the Bills, they're doing exactly what they've always done.
They're doing
Do you
what?
think this is a conspiracy? Do you think this is rigged for
Okay.
the Patriots to win?
So they just released what the trade was. So the Bills received 2 7th-round picks, and then the Buccaneers in exchange traded back to the 12th overall pick and picked up 2 second-round picks.
That's a giant win for the Bucs, man.
Yes, I
mean
agree.
that's why would you not take that?
Well, if
deal?
you're trading up for a quarterback, that makes sense to give up 2 second-round picks. So I think it's a win-win if you believe that Josh Allen is your guy. We don't think he is, so it looks bad to us. But if you're their scouts and their GM, and you trade 2 second-round picks for if he may have been their number 1 quarterback on their board, and in that case, that's a great trade for them.
I mean, again, good for them, better for the Jags. I can't think of a better fan base to get a crappy quarterback and lose picks over it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't forget the Bills made the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
they're going backwards, I believe, with this pick. I think they have downgraded at quarterback. If they had kept Tyrod Taylor, they would be in a better position.
I mean, I see what you're saying, but let's just take like the microcosm of the game that we saw. Put Josh Allen at quarterback for the Bills last year. You can't score any less than 6 points.
No.
that's true.
So it's, what do you have to lose by replacing him? I know Tyrod had decent stats, but when it came to crunch time, he did nothing. And I know the Jags defense was elite, but it's hard to do worse than 6 points.
yeah, but I mean, is that the quarterback's fault though? I mean, the Bills weren't supposed to be all that good
Shady
last
McCoy
year. Right?
went off, though.
Yeah, true, but that's one guy. I don't know.
It's a big part of your offense, though. And, the Jags defense did force most of that, to be fair.
But again, I'm happy. I mean, it keeps going our way. I mean,
Yeah,
like I said,
I tell
keep
you,
it coming.
who's happier? The Patriots. Anyone else in their division, in my opinion. But anyway, let's move on. The Bears have the next pick, and their pick is in. Goodell is walking to the podium quickly, guys. What do you think?
Someone's got to take Minka Fitzpatrick, so I'm gonna say Minka.
I'm gonna go with Roquan Smith, linebacker, Georgia.
I'm going Minka.
And I'll go Smith as well.
With the 8th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Chicago Bears select Roquan Smith, linebacker, Georgia.
All right.
Oh my gosh! All right, James is picking first from now on.
That was a good call by them. Hopefully
Yeah.
they're getting back to their roots with that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
The Lance Briggs,
Yeah.
Brian Urlacher roots.
He fits the mold.
I think the more I'm going to beat this horse until it's not possible, but Derwin James keeps backing up. If he can get out of the top 10, the Jaguars trading up is a lot more likely.
Could happen.
If he can get out of the top 10, that's only 2 more picks. And if you think Minka Fitzpatrick is better, which most people do, there's one. And then, I don't know. We'll see after that. But things are looking okay. San Francisco's next. They're not going quarterback.
I mean, there really couldn't be a better team for him to land on either. You put him in with Telvin and Ramsey, talk about chemistry and just bonding. I mean, we would have the sickest defense in the league.
I mean, the more realistic viewpoint would be that the offensive linemen aren't being taken. So I know Quentin Nelson was the highest drafted, but we still haven't seen Connor Williams come off the board. That's someone that could have gone in the top 10 or could go in the top 10. So the less that linemen go, I think the better for the Jaguars as well.
Yeah. I think you could. I don't want to put my pick in yet for San Fran, but I could see offensive lineman here. I think you might be able to. We might see our second offensive lineman, or they could continue to build on their defense and go Minka Fitzpatrick. I don't know. This is a tough one. I really have no idea what San Francisco is going to do. I don't know enough about them. I know they're not going to go quarterback.
I think either Minka or Tremaine Edmonds.
I'm gonna let James pick first on this one because
I think I picked Smith first.
I've learned my lesson.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they take Derwin? I mean,
Only because they think Fitzpatrick's better. There's the same position.
really.
I think with the 3-4 defense that San Francisco runs, they're going to be looking for that outside backer edge rusher, and Tremaine Edmonds could fit that mold, I think.
Is that your pick, or is it you're just kind of thinking out loud?
I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I'm going to pick after you. So
I really have absolutely no idea who they're going to take. I'm looking at some names and nothing's really jumping out. I could see this could be another curveball here.
you might see a trade here.
You could see a trade. I could see a running back.
They
Maybe Geis.
They
honestly.
definitely need running back. I mean, I'd pay anybody but Jason here $5 if they could name one running back on the San Fran squad right now.
Yeah, I don't know.
What? Carlos Hyde.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Isn't he on the team?
yeah, he is. Carlos Hyde is.
Well, I
definitely-
did say anybody but Jason.
Yeah, you did.
They still have Michael James. He was great.
Yeah, so I guess running back's not where they're going to go. I just don't know a lot about him. I really don't.
Carlos Hyde torched us. Their fullback, what was it, Yurkovich? Or that dude killed us, man. And what's his name? George Kittle, the tight end. Golly, man, I know I've said this before, but I hated the way they beat us.
I knew they were going to lose that game.
We had no film on.
Hey, maybe we can trade all of our West Coast trips for London games. How about that for a deal?
Hey.
That I would do.
Hey.
That I would do. Okay, I'm gonna because Jason's making me go first. I'm gonna say Vita V. Is that you? I don't even know how to pronounce his
Yeah,
name.
that's how you say it.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
it.
that's what I thought. Defensive tackle, Washington. John Lynch, GM. He's a big time, defensive guy. At the same time, they got Jimmy G. They might want to give him offense. I have no idea. That's who I'm gonna go with.
I'm going with Minka Fitzpatrick, but I really think they're going to go Tremaine Edmonds.
Oh, 2 picks that you're pulling at me there, huh?
Yeah, I am.
I'm going to say Tremaine Edmonds.
Who did you say, Robert? You gave 2 picks.
No, I said I really think they're going to go Minka Fitzpatrick, but I'm going to say that they're probably going to go Tremaine Edmonds.
Derwin James.
All right, Joey got in Derwin James.
With the 9th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Mike McGlinchey, offensive tackle, Notre Dame.
Okay,
Whoa.
we have our second offensive lineman.
Yeah, there he is.
Taking off the board, McGlinchey. That doesn't really surprise me too much. I don't know. I see a little overrated here. Joey, what was your point about him playing with Nelson at Notre Dame?
My point with that is, I mean, Nelson is so good. It had to make him better playing with that guy. So, I mean, how good is he really? That's the question. I'd be scared to take him this early, and a lot of people didn't have him this early. So, that's a flyer, man.
Yeah, that's them trying to protect their investment. and Jimmy G. At the same time, though, I'm kind of bummed. I don't like seeing offensive linemen go off the board because that's really what the position I want the Jaguars to address. And
Well, the one thing is, what's happened to Will Hernandez in the whole discussion there? I mean, did he get arrested? I didn't know about or something. He's dropped off everybody's.
yeah,
board.
I'm not really sure why either.
I saw a lot of people for a while there picking him in the later first, like
Really?
closer
Okay.
to like 15 and lower. But I mean,
Like, I didn't think we had a shot at him for a while there, but now it looks like we definitely do.
More importantly, Oakland picks the 10th pick of the draft. The top 10 is the next pick. Derwin James has yet to be selected. The possibility of the Jaguars trading up is more and more real.
And this is the Raiders we're talking about, though.
the
Yeah.
Raiders
Could be a kicker.
Yeah,
It's true.
well, they did get rid of their punter, although it's John Gruden now. Who knows what he's going to want to do?
The Raiders really need an offensive lineman, which I thought they probably would have went with McGlinchey, but I don't know now. They could be the Will Hernandez pick.
The big knock on McGlinchey was that he had really bad games against Miami and Georgia, the only two good teams they played.
They could go Isaiah Wynn.
So that kind of goes back to Joey's point, where how much should Quentin Nelson really just cover for him?
And doesn't Wynn have like a torn labrum or something like that? He's injured, is he not?
Oh, they traded.
Oh, yeah.
We have a trade. The Oakland Raiders traded the pick, 10th overall pick, to the Arizona Cardinals.
No,
I mean, that's got to be Rosen, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I don't know why you would trade up by this
No,
point
it
besides
has
the
to be.
quarterback.
Definitely Rosen. It's probably a smart call. I mean, for some reason, Miami has this ungodly faith in Tannehill. I mean, I just don't get it.
He's not a bad quarterback. You're always hating on my boy Tannehill. He's not. I mean, he's had nothing around him. He's had one good center. He's had
And he has less around him this coming up
Yeah.
year than he's ever had.
I agree, but I
will-
don't think you can blame the
Landry
quarterback.
just got paid like $1 bajillion. He was
I'm
around
not
him.
like sold on him, but I think he is probably going to be a better quarterback than all but maybe one quarterback in this entire
You know what?
draft, though. So why would you? I mean,
That's fair enough.
why would you risk?
I
waste the
love
pick?
Blake, but I might take Tannehill over Blake.
Oh, that's blasphemy.
I know.
Blake Bortles, I am sorry if you're listening.
I'm
Once
telling
again,
you, though, Tannehill's a good player.
obligatory get Bortles on the
Man. He's
podcast.
better
Do
than
not
you
listen
give
to
him
Jason.
credit for. He's better than you give him credit for.
I agree that he is better than given credit, but he's not good enough to where if you have an opportunity to take a possible franchise quarterback, you pass on that. And I think Rosen is going to be as good as Mayfield, if not better. I would say those are the top two of the four quarterbacks that have been taken. And we don't know if that's what Arizona's doing. They have 3 minutes to tell us. But, I don't know why you trade up if you're not taking Josh Rosen at this point. Just to be official, are we all saying Rosen?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
why
I don't know
else
why.
would they trade up?
They did add Sam Bradford.
For 1 year, another 1 year contract, just like the Jets had with their two guys, and they still went quarterback. I mean, I can't imagine them liking anyone besides Rosen enough to trade.
And that might be ideal for Rosen. I mean, he goes in for a year, sits, learns, picks up the offense, the pro game, and comes out and kills it next year.
Or Sam Bradford, though, he might play the second game because Bradford gets hurt again. And
Well, that's
just
true.
Sits home and
Tears his third ACL in 4 years.
cashes his checks.
I think that every scenario is the quarterback comes in and sits, but it almost never happens like that.
No.
Like every time.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, yeah. I mean, especially with social media and fans, pressure on these guys, it's like we all want players to sit because it works. It worked for Aaron Rodgers. It worked for quarterbacks like that. But realistically, I mean, everyone said the same thing about Bortles. They wanted Bortles to sit behind Henne,
yeah.
and it's just not realistic.
Well, no one saw how terrible Henne was going to play either.
Cardinals, we just found out, in exchange for their 10th overall pick, swapped to the 15th pick with the Raiders and got a 3rd round pick and a 5th round pick, which isn't a lot.
No, that's really not a
So
lot. That's kind of
that's-
surprising, right?
Well, they only moved back 5 spots.
Yeah.
But the first round,
Remember, though, that's John Gruden. He's going to want to – every new GM wants draft picks, whether that's the right thing to do or not.
that's true.
So that's what he's probably just trying to do is get as many draft picks as possible. And, who knows what they're going after. 5 picks back, the guy they may have wanted is going to still be there.
I mean, they
We
got
don't
their
know.
quarterback, so
I mean, since you brought up Chucky, I mean, that's kind of an interesting topic as well. That's a bold move by him getting out of the booth and going back to coaching.
It's a dumb move.
Not when you get how much million guaranteed?
Sure, but as far as your legend goes, I mean, he took over a Tampa Bay team that was built for him. I mean,
Yeah.
let's see if he can do it.
yeah. But NFL coaches are like hyper competitive people, so they see an opportunity like this to be competitive again. It's hard to turn it down.
Plus, he's got his franchise quarterback already. I mean, he's going in. Derek
True.
Carr is, legit. He had an off year last year, but there's many reasons for that. They have Khalil Mack You know, they have their two studs on both sides of the ball. It's a good situation to be in. You can argue it's a winnable division. You know, I think the Chargers are going to sneak up on some people. Broncos are down. You would almost say the Broncos are rebuilding.
So no, man, I love the fact that he's doing it. I mean, it's a gutsy move, and he's putting his money where his mouth is.
All right, let's see what we got here. Arizona.
With the 10th pick in the 2018 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Josh Rosen, quarterback, UCLA.
And Josh Rosen, there it is. The fourth of the main 4 quarterbacks is off the board. All 4 taken in the top 10. 4 quarterbacks in the top 10. Wow.
Much different than what we thought would be maybe the top 4.
That's true.
More importantly, he bought that suit off the rack at JCPenney's.
I like it. Kind of looks like when Michael Scott wore a woman's suit. It kind of looked like that for a second.
That's a Joseph A. Banks suit for sure.
He got a BOGO on that. He's got a free suit hanging in his closet.
It's tailored to make him look 7 foot tall and 120 pounds. I love it.
I think he's pumped.
I would be.
Yeah,
that's a great fit. I think.
I agree. I think
the suit.
I think that's going to work. I think it's going to work pretty well.
They don't have a lot of offensive weapons though.
Got Larry Fitz.
That doesn't do much for me.
Yeah, how many more years can he play? Right.
One. I mean, with that running back, David Johnson. We don't really know what he is now after an injury. Mm-hmm. Running backs are not usually the same after injuries, and Larry Fitzgerald's old as dirt. The offensive line's decent and better than a lot of teams, but I don't know, man.
Their defense is awful too, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. If I'm a Cardinals fan, I like it.
There you go, James.
I like it.
Oh, yeah. You're always hyped to get a quarterback.
Traded up to get him, so they must have liked him.
Like we said, didn't give up a lot, though. A third and a fifth.
That's a pretty good move.
And looking at who's next, you got Miami, then Tampa Bay, who traded back, the Redskins, Green Bay, and then Oakland, who was supposed to pick there. I wonder if any of those teams would have gone quarterback. Maybe Miami. Tampa Bay's not. Washington's not. And Green Bay definitely is not.
No.
So you have to wonder if it was a necessary trade.
I think it was just to get ahead of Miami.
Yeah, they must have wondered.
That or
I don't know. It's interesting. If you're Miami and you weren't going quarterback, that was a great move for you.
Absolutely. And there's all that talk about Green Bay trading up earlier today, and they haven't yet. So it kind of makes me wonder who's slipping, Derwin James, that they might want.
I think Derwin's going to go to Tampa Bay because that's who they were mocked to get, and they traded back, and they might still get him.
That'd be awesome.
If that happens, they definitely win.
As you always know, you can follow us at Another Jags Pod on Twitter. You can also see us on Instagram at Another Jags Podcast, as well as Facebook at Another Jags Podcast. You can follow us at any of those social media platforms. You can also find us at any podcasting platform as well. Just do a little search of Another Jags Podcast. And we thank you for listening again, and go Jags.
Woo! Go Jags, man.